what you think about me, I don't care what you say about me. You're not in the position that I'm in to even be on the same level of me, you know? And I don't say reach. He got like a 60 something, you know? He's wider than me, but that's it. So I'm like, it match up. It matches up.
It's their levels and their stars and superstars. Okay, and they made the championship, not the championship made them. So it's way different, you know. Like I come and I do my career, and I fight with Coro and with the Klaus, and I fight with Mayweather with the Klaus, and I fight with everybody to build my Canelo Alvarez. I am right now. I can do whatever I want.
In a recent face-to-face interview with Canelo and Crawford said that he is bringing the whole Arsenal team to the training camp to make sure that nothing is missed for this historic fight. If he wins, he will be the first male boxer in the history of 4 belts to claim undisputed status in 3 weight classes. Crawford has made it clear that he is well aware of the dangers and the sheer height of the rock he has to climb. He knows the risks, but he also believes in his skills. He says that his speed, reach, and boxing IQ are the keys to figuring out Canelo.
Career, I've been criticized, and people have taken credit away from me just to try to diminish my accomplishments just off of pure hate. So what would they be able to say with me going up 2 weight classes? If Canelo become undisputed again and I beat Canelo, what could they say? They'll say something, but what
Crawford is right to be confident. He has a unique mix of technical skill and knockout power that makes him a nightmare for every opponent he has met. On his physical strength, Crawford said, "I think I have more speed and reach than Canelo. I think I'm better at fighting now, even though he's bigger and stronger." In fact, this is not a boast, it is a firm assessment. Crawford is unique because he can change stances and go from offensive to defensive positions without any problems. This is something that most fighters, including Canelo, haven't had to deal with in recent years. This ability to adapt, along with his high ring IQ, has helped him rule many weight classes, going from lightweight to welterweight, and beating champions at each level. As Crawford explains, he is now one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the sport after his latest fight against Errol Spence Jr., which was a masterclass in timing, distance control, and power.
On his part, and then you get to see Canelo and see if he's able to maintain the 168-pound division. You know, he's been there for quite some time, and we've seen Canelo go up to 75 to fight Bivol. It didn't look too well for him, you know, but we'll see. I think it's a great matchup. Obviously, Canelo has to do his part in winning and collecting another belt to become undisputed once again in that weight class against William Skull. So it's a great matchup. I think that it's definitely eye-pleasing for the crowd.
Despite the significant weight gap, Crawford is undeterred. He addressed this immediately, adding, "My arms are long, I am strong, and I dare to claim that they underestimate my strength." It is true that we will fight in his weight category, which he is very familiar with, but let us see if it will be as easy as he claims. These statements have sliced right to the heart of the problem. Canelo, for all of his power and pressure, has struggled against fighters who can use their reach effectively while staying disciplined over 12 rounds. Floyd Mayweather, who handed Canelo his lone true loss, did so by capitalizing on similar advantages despite his lower weight. Crawford clearly sees a path to victory through better ring generalship, footwork, and the ability to punish Canelo for every misstep.
And a very strong fighter, you know, facing him off. He's actually the taller man. So I'm leaning towards Crawford now. I switched my opinion. I think Canelo looked too slow, too flat-footed. One punch at a time. I don't think that's gonna be enough for him to beat Crawford. Crawford's too fast, too strong, just too good.
Canelo, for his part, is not underestimating the task ahead. Canelo, who recently reclaimed his undisputed title by beating William Skull in a hard-fought 2-round decision, stays as motivated as always. he has acknowledged the significance of this battle, saying, "Just look at how much he's accomplished, and how much I've accomplished. So imagine to fighters with those accomplishments, it's a massive chance for Canelo to establish his reputation against an all-time great, moving up to test him, and maybe winning the most crucial fight of his career."
Crawford. Do you think he'll add to your legacy, the fight with Crawford?
Yeah, he's a really good fighter. 2 times undisputed champion. He accomplished so much, so can add a lot to my career.
Canelo's assessment that this fight could surpass his 2013 bout with Mayweather in terms of historical effect is not without merit. At the time, Canelo was a rising star, undefeated and still refining his game. He was outclassed by Mayweather's superior technique and defensive mastery, a loss that he openly admits taught him priceless lessons. Now over a decade later, Canelo is the complete fighter with wins across 4 weight classes and a resume that includes,
you know, then I started sizing him up, and I'm like, all right, well, Canelo 5'7", you know, my arm's longer.
Yeah.
He's strong, I'm strong.
Right.
You know, it'd be, to me, skill for skill.
Right.
You know, because Canelo not the biggest 168 fighter. So I just started looking into it.
the mental game is just as exciting as the physical one. Crawford has made it clear that he does not merely want to survive against the bigger man, he wants to impose his will. His trainer, Bo McIntyre, has encouraged this approach, saying, "I see the flaws in his game and know how to attack him. This isn't meaningless courage, it's a planned approach to the fight that seeks to capitalize on Canelo's rare lack of footwork and dependence on power strikes." Crawford's camp is supposedly working on lateral movement, rapid replies, and constant angles in an attempt to confuse and disturb Canelo's rhythm. This tactical edge, combined with Crawford's unwavering self-belief, creates a new set of obstacles for Canelo, who is accustomed to crushing opponents with pressure and force.
All right, I'll even do it for you. A good little man has never beaten a good big man in the history of the game, unless you go back to certain situations with Pacquiao beat me, but I was a dead man walking anyway. But a good little man never beats a good big man, so it's a tough test for Crawford, but I'm not counting him out. The bottom line, and this is the truth again, it's a money grab.
Crawford's preparation is also marked by a notable addition to his camp. It has been suggested that he may bring in Israel Madrimov as a sparring partner, move that would mirror the strategy Dmitry Bivol used before his stunning upset of Canelo in 2020 to Madrimov, a tough, durable fighter known for his aggressive style and high ring IQ helped Bivol sharpen his counters and footwork for that bout, leading to a decisive unanimous decision win. When asked if he would assist Crawford, Madrimov said, "Yes, because I need more practice for my next fight. If he's calling, no problem." This could be a crucial piece of Crawford's puzzle, providing him with a sparring partner capable of simulating Canelo's relentless forward pressure while maintaining enough skill to test Crawford's adjustments in real time.
To help him for Canelo, would you?
Если Канело тебя попросит помочь в спаррингах, ты согласишься?
Yes, yeah, because I needed more practice for my next fight. If he's calm, no problem.
Do you think Terence can beat Canelo?
If 12 rounds, maybe yes, because very technical.
Even as he goes into the lion's den at 168 pounds, Crawford looks unconcerned by the violence awaiting him. He has publicly watched Canelo's previous bouts, especially Thang 12-rounder against Skull, where the Mexican struggled to land properly on a constantly moving target. Of the 150 blows Canelo threw in that battle, only 56 landed, a number that certainly increases Crawford's confidence. He noted, "Skull moved a lot. He neutralized Canelo's power punches nicely. He was boxing well, and suddenly he stopped." This assessment suggests Crawford's intention to push Canelo into deep waters, testing his stamina and patience throughout the bout.
Canelo power punches, he was just moving a lot.
Do you think that's a style you have to employ in points of the fight?
I don't know, because if you watch the styles that beat him, they didn't move a lot. You know, they moved a little bit, but not as much as William Skull.
There's a rumor going around this week that Manny Pacquiao is going to return. What do you make of that?
I don't know. We shall see. I don't know.
Do you think he's too old at 46 to fight Barrios?
But not everyone shares Crawford's faith. Amir Khan, who once met Canelo at catchweight and was knocked out, gave a sobering reminder of the perils that lie ahead. Canelo's a beast, man. I fought both of those guys, and I think size always prevails. Having weight division serves a purpose, Khan explained. While recognizing Crawford's ability, he questioned the wisdom of such a dangerous move. Terrence is special, don't get me wrong, but then there's getting hit by a guy like Canelo. Despite these cautions, Crawford appears firm in his commitment, fully accepting the challenge and the chance for great glory.
Crawford and Canelo?
I don't think that should happen. Look, I like Crawford, and I think Canelo is a beast that way. Honestly, I would advise Crawford not to do that.
However, not everything is so easy. That is coming from Crawford's camp, Terrence. Brian Bomac McIntyre, Crawford's trainer, recently made news for raising worries about the chance of biased judging in Crawford's next fight against Canelo Alvarez. This isn't just your typical pre-fight chat about game plans and training intensity. It's a direct jab at the sport's frequently questioned scoring systems, especially in high-stakes bouts featuring boxing's greatest names. McIntyre's remarks suggest a deep concern about the possibility of an unfavorable decision. A concern that, if shared by Crawford's camp, may affect the psychological landscape of the bout well before the first bell rings.
It's a stylistic matchup, you know, and Williams Cole don't fight nothing like Terrence Crawford. So we're not going to see the same type of fight come September. I think we're going to see a great fight, real good fight.
You and Terrence have always had like a good relationship, but if he makes Canelo come off the titles, is he on your radar then in the division?
Yeah, I mean, all the top super middleweights are on my radar. You know, I want to face the best, and you know, a lot of fighters say that, but I don't feel like a lot of them have shown and proved that. I feel like I've shown and proved that. So.
McIntyre addressed this problem during an interview with Mill City Boxing, confessing, "This is the only thing that sometimes scares me. The name Canelo. Will we receive a fair shake if the fight is close? Will we get a fair shake?" It's a heavy statement, especially coming from a trainer known for his straight and sometimes harsh critiques. The underlying message is clear. McIntyre feels that even if Crawford puts on a winning performance, the judges may still favor the better established, more marketable Canelo, a boxer who has a history of getting positive scorecards in closely contested fights.
You're going to stop Canelo Alvarez.
I don't gotta stop him. I just gotta beat him. I'm not going in there looking to knock Canelo out. Could it happen? Yes, absolutely. You know, when I look at Canelo, he's a smaller, bigger guy moving up in divisions. You know, being that these big guys are slower, so they might catch him with something, but he might see it at the last moment. You know, they might catch him.
This isn't the first time Canelo has met controversial judging. The Mexican superstar's disputed 2017 fight with Gennady Golovkin, for example, remains one of the most divisive choices in recent history. The infamous 118-110 scoring in that fight, handed down by Judge Adelaide Bird, became a flashpoint for critics who say that elite fighters like Canelo frequently benefit from the judge's taste for aggression and star power above technique and ring management. McIntyre's preemptive strike on this topic is more than simply a tactical move. It's a psychological plow meant to keep the pressure on judges to score fairly, despite the heightened scrutiny that will surround each round of this mega fight.
I like to fight guys like Crawford because he move a lot and the fight is not that great. I saw Crawford the last fight and he don't move that much now. So
well, Canelo is the face of boxing. He's the best fighter for Terrence Crawford out there. That's why Terrence Crawford want to take the opportunity to share a ring with another great.
You know, weight class for a reason. In his mind, he think he can do whatever he wants because he's very talented.
I just hope that Crawford is not overdoing himself with the weight and he underestimates because he never got.
But there's another layer to this strategy that shows the dynamics within Crawford's camp. McIntyre's comments can be interpreted as a precaution against possible backlash if his fighter falls short by sowing the seeds of a scoring controversy. Bomac is essentially establishing an insurance policy against the narrative of a clean loss. It's a calculated gamble, recognizing that many of Crawford's fans may not see a decision loss to a naturally larger fighter as a simple defeat, but rather as an example of politics at work.
Well, they was something until Crawford fought him. So obviously he's doing a great job because he's making everybody look normal.
Apparently no rehydration clause, am I hearing that right? He wants full smoke at that weight.
Let's go, man. That's what Crawford wants. He wants to show the world that he's the best. So why put stipulations in there when you know that you can be the best? So
it's also an unusual approach, given Crawford's public confidence. The Nebraska native has frequently stated that his skill set, reach, and boxing knowledge are sufficient to counter Canelo's power and size benefits. This message conflict within the team Crawford raises the question of whether Bomac's reservations are based on a genuine fear of unjust treatment or an attempt to influence the post-fight narrative regardless of the result. Crawford, known for his steely demeanor and unwavering focus, may not like his trainer's apparent lack of faith in his ability to complete the job without external intervention.
No Triple G on Bud's resume. There's no Trout on Bud's resume. There's no Daniel Jacobs on Bud's resume. Canelo is the one that's fought the elite level opposition. It's Canelo that fought Laura. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ. Bud has never faced a multiple division.
Aside from McIntyre, the event has already faced logistical problems, despite the high-profile nature of the fight, which could potentially bring a large crowd. UFC President Dana White, who is pushing the bout, has stated that he is not a fan of the planned site, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. White, who is known for his strong beliefs and aversion to hold UFC events in vast open stadiums, recently reinforced his position, saying, "Nothing will change my mind about a stadium show. I truly adore this town, and the energy was great all night. That is the energy you feel in an arena." White's dissatisfaction with the stadium location is more than just a personal choice. It's a practical and atmospheric problem. The UFC has built its brand around the intense, intimate intensity of stadium bouts, where the audience's reactions can propel the action inside the cage. Translating that same intensity to a large arena, even for a boxing contest of this size, presents a major problem. Nevertheless, White has committed to making the experience inside Allegiant Stadium as powerful as possible, knowing that this is a rare exception for a bout of this scale. Yeah, I hate it. I dislike it so much that I'm going to have to figure out how to make it a unique experience inside Allegiant Stadium, White stated, implying that he is ready to pull out all the stops to assure the event's success.
Canelo is still the man.
Yes.
You know,
he's been for a long, long time.
And he jumps in there and he does it and he goes to work, and it's hard to stay at that level for a very long time. And Canelo's another guy. I mean, what's this guy clipping?
In a recent interview, Frank Warren, another important person in the boxing industry, weighed in, adding to the event's excitement. Warren reacted on Canelo's recent battle with William Skull, saying that the Mexican superstar appeared weak at times. "You know, Skull was catching Canelo. It makes Crawford's fight more of an intriguing fight," Warren said, noting that even a great like Canelo may be touched if his opponent keeps discipline and precision. Warren's remarks mirror a widespread view among boxing insiders. Canelo, for all his strength and experience, can still be outboxed by a shrewd, sharp fighter who refuses to engage in a brawl.
He could give Canelo a real problem now. I think early on you could see, he's a mover and he's obviously a very good boxer. I think to start with, when he's throwing his jab, it was falling short. They weren't emphatic punches. And I think as it slowed down, it was then connecting. He was catching it. It makes that Crawford fight, I think, more an intriguing fight. I always say a good big and beat a good little one. And he's got to give a lot of weight away, Crawford. But he could give Canelo a real problem now because Canelo was...
Warren's insights are especially important, given Crawford's approach, which is noted for his ability to change stances and maximize his reach. Crawford has the tools to duplicate some of Skull's success, but with a higher level of execution and finishing ability. If Crawford can draw Canelo into a tactical battle rather than a brawl, he stands a real chance of neutralizing the Mexican's power and grinding out a points win. However, as Warren rightly points out, the weight disparity will be a major factor. "A good big will beat a good little," he said, emphasizing the physical facts that Crawford must. Meanwhile, Canelo has kept his message straightforward but respectful, acknowledging Crawford's elite position, but stating unequivocally that he plans to protect his turf at 168 pounds.
And the biggest question to me, how will the 12-pound difference be for Terence Crawford? It's going to be his first fight at 168. For Canelo, this is the weight class that he always fights at, no problem. But I'm really curious on how Terence Crawford is going to be able to adjust to this and if it's going to be advanced.
In the end, this bout is turning up to be more than just a battle of styles or a test of will. It's a referendum on the sport itself, with questions of judging, size, and promotional politics all at stake. Crawford has the chance to win a record third undisputed title in as many weight divisions. For Canelo, it's another chance to reaffirm his authority and possibly silence those who still doubt his place among the all-time greats. But who do you believe will win? And do you think Bomac is already making excuses for a possible Crawford loss?